Good afternoon. Thank you all for having us here at the ATEM SSCC. I'm Scott Whitman, one of Tribal's sales executives in APAC. Today I'm going to talk about how student support is changing, what that means for student support services teams, and why a ticketing and inquiry management system is no longer the best solution. There are a number of reasons for this. The first is that the number of students is growing. In Australia, for example, the overall predicted rate of international student demand is still around 5% year on year, driven not just by demand from China and India, but also from countries such as Bangladesh, Vietnam, and Indonesia. The second is that student support demands are increasing. The challenge of supporting mental health in universities has been steadily growing for years and has been hugely exacerbated by the pandemic. The world's largest student survey identified that the number of students using counselling services nearly doubled between 2019 and 2020, and the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare recently highlighted that a quarter of all 16 to 24-year-olds experienced symptoms of a mental disorder in the past 12 months. And lastly, because it's complex. With the evolving course types, shorter courses with micro-credentials, lifelong learning, more remote learners, increased international students and so on, mean that as the number of students increases, their circumstances are becoming more diverse. So there are more students needing support. The issues are becoming more serious, there is more data to protect, and there is a limit to the number of staff available to help. This all combines and adds to the problem. Let's add to this another challenge. Students aren't satisfied with traditional support provision. We've identified 3 key factors why students have difficulty getting the support they need. First is that students have identified barriers to accessing support services, and this is split into 3 categories: structural barriers, psychological barriers, and physical barriers. These comprise the limitations of service capacity, the stigma of accessing mental health support, and the service availability time. Second is the lack of coordination and communication within support teams. This is frustrating for students, but for more serious mental health issues it can cause distress, potentially leading to conflicting support plans, multiple referrals, and additional wait times. It can also mean that the student must repeat sensitive or upsetting details to a number of different support staff. Lastly, students highlighted a lack of differentiation based on the needs of individual students. A one-size-fits-all approach does not reflect the diversity of the student population. The student panels recommended well-being support based on different levels of need, culturally sensitive support, subject-specific support, and the ability to access support using different platforms to meet the needs of different students. So how can we help institutions to cope with increasing demands that meets the needs of today's diverse student population? The Tribal Student Support and Wellbeing Solution helps institutions to deliver the support every student needs to thrive. We help in 4 ways. 1, we help you to reach students at the right time with the right people and services. This works both ways. We also provide tools that make it easier for students to reach your services. 2, when it comes to providing appropriate support, we help by making sure support teams have the tools and information they need to be more efficient and effective. 3, we also recognise that support does not happen in isolation. So we help you to connect your service with a wider range of external and community support. And finally, we provide data and tools that enable you to develop and implement a whole institution approach to support and well-being. For those of you who aren't familiar with us, Tribal is a market-leading provider of education technology SaaS solutions to higher and vocational education institutions globally. Our vision is to empower the world of education. We develop and deliver the cloud-native solutions needed by educational institutions across the world to support their primary goals of educating students and ultimately delivering successful outcomes. If you are interested to chat about anything you saw today, please get in touch. We will be available throughout the event. And once again, thanks for having us here today, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.